Here are the top 3 differences that I have noticed in my mindset since marrying my twin flame and being in union versus when I was in the energy of separation. Okay, so mindset shift number 1 was all about deservingness around love and worthiness. Being in union and being married is truly, truly a beautiful, fulfilling feeling, but I did not get here overnight. It took me some time. The biggest difference that I've noticed in myself since being married is that I am so much more open and receptive to receiving love. And now this sounds like an obvious one, right? Because obviously, like if you're married, you receive love all the time from your partner. But this is actually like a difference that goes deeper than just romantic relationships. Like, this is about your receptivity about every area of your life. Being more open and willing to see positive compliments or intentions or kind gestures or kind energy. It's about being tuned in kind of to a sense of abundance all around you. Being in union at my baseline, I really do feel deserving and worthy of love. And it almost feels like one of those things that doesn't have too much of an emotional charge around it anymore. Like that shame has dissipated. It is more so this sense of love that I have towards myself and all living things, where it's like my mind is like, of course I deserve love. Of course other people deserve love. Like there's enough love to go around. And I credit so much of this to a lot of the inner child work that I did. Reparenting my inner child, meeting my needs, acknowledging my feelings, and feeling my feelings allowed me to get into a state where, because I had shown myself such deep self love, I had resolved the pain that was keeping me in cycles of really pushing people away, was actually able to receive love when people wanted to give it, and not just receive love, but also to recognize love when someone's giving it to you. We can become jaded and cynical from negative past experiences, and those of you who are dealing with the divine masculine who has gone through a lot of trauma, maybe they get defensive or suspicious of your actions and behaviors. You kind of know how this feels from the outside. And so really regulating yourself and healing yourself to the degree where it feels safe to receive love again. And then you start to take small steps to build up those positive experiences, to have a reservoir of memories that you can pull from in the moments where you are triggered, to affirm to yourself, wait, the reality is that most of the time when someone's trying to give me love, it usually is genuine and I can safely receive it. And so overall, I would say the first mindset shift is I became way less suspicious or guarded and really just relaxed into that receiving, because I learned to heal myself and regulate my nervous system to receive that. All right, number 2 is communicating and expressing my feelings. I had the hardest time expressing my feelings growing up because I was raised in a household which is a half Asian household. And if you know anything about some Asian families, we just have a more difficult time expressing our emotions or expressing our love. Marrying my twin flame, he actually came from a Mexican family who's a lot more loving and kind of community focused. And so that was a huge paradigm shift for me as I entered into that union, because I began to realize that the walls or the coldness that I would feel in my family wasn't necessarily the healthiest, most functioning family. And obviously, like when you come from a family that has dysfunction and has wounds, and you're kind of the person healing that generational trauma, you kind of know that there's something that isn't quite right about it, but you don't actually realize how much you were missing until you encounter a family dynamic that is totally the opposite. That's like sunshine and love and like connection and like valuing each other and spending quality time with each other. Like, it was a huge paradigm shift for me. It made me realize that my husband, my twin flame, actually likes it when I communicate how I feel, that what I communicate isn't actually a problem. There's nothing shameful about it. And actually, I was able to rewire this association that I had with being vulnerable, where in the past it was like, if you're vulnerable, people are kind of like, ooh, that's yucky, that's sticky, like it's uncomfortable, versus being in union and being in an energy where it's like, I am so glad you told me about how you feel, like I truly care. And it's almost like a very positive thing that fuels the connection, because when you can open up, you're being more vulnerable, and that vulnerability builds this intimacy, which is ultimately, when we're trying to manifest union, we want a feel-good relationship. And you get a feel-good relationship by being able to share your inner world with someone, by being able to trust them and receive love, and for them to validate how you feel and kind of just be there for you. If I could go back in time, I would encourage myself to practice communicating my feelings more, really kind of work through my resistance to that, because I think so much of my resistance to being open and emotional actually blocked me in so many ways, not just in my twin flame union, but like friendships. Like I would push people away because I couldn't receive that love. I couldn't be vulnerable. It was extremely uncomfortable. So just to know that that was actually something that came from my childhood, from the way that I was raised, and to consciously rewire that, and that there was actually a way that it could feel good and healthy. So mindset shift number 3 is more of a spiritual one. So I experienced such a profound feeling of oneness after manifesting union. It's also this profound feeling of oneness with my husband and my twin flame that keeps on growing. And we even say to each other that it's like the more time that we spend together, we just keep having more and more fun. Because it's like the more that we get to know each other, the more that we're really merging our lives and our day-to-day activities and kind of building our life around the shared values that we have and things that are really important. It is almost like if you have this image of two hearts that are joining together, the energetic field that will come from the merging of two hearts is way more powerful than just one alone. And you really feel that being in union. You really feel that power of like togetherness and comfort and love. And it also made me realize that a lot of the feelings of oneness that we are really wanting to achieve on this journey through manifesting that union, what we're really desiring comes from vulnerability. And this was a hard pill for me to swallow because, again, from how I was raised, vulnerability was one of those things that felt so difficult. Like your ability to experience bliss and safety and oneness is directly correlated for your ability to choose to be vulnerable and to choose to share what is authentic to you. So how you really feel, what you're really scared of, what you truly desire, these things that can kind of make us freeze up and be like, oh, that feels so scary to share. Those are the things that directly correlate to you having that feel-good relationship, to you being seen and loved in all those ways. So after manifesting union, I had such a more intensified feeling of purpose. Like, of course, I had purpose in my work beforehand because I was always connected to my spirituality and my personal sense of faith. But being in union, your purposes merge. It's almost like your hearts can kind of co-create an even better vision than you might have had solo. Those are really the biggest mindset shifts that I made. Let me know in the comments what other questions that you have that you would love to see me make videos about, and also if this is really resonating with you and really hitting home. You're currently at a place where you're wanting to manifest union from this energy of self-love, not self-suppression. I'd love for you to take my free union block quiz inside my school community. Let me know what results you get, and of course, follow for more.